So, the self. What is the self? What does it mean to live in the self? Honestly, this is one of the few questions that I get that is easy to say the answer to, but it's so hard. It is so hard to grasp the concept of. Because you see, to understand the self is actually the goal of all forms of yoga. Every single form of yoga and meditation, the ultimate goal of it is to completely understand the self, your true nature, your Atman, the witness, the soul, Jiva, whatever you want to call it. Because when you can understand that, you can and will understand absolutely anything and everything that is worth knowing for your life. Where you're sitting right now, look around the room that you're sitting in, or the area that you're sitting in. It doesn't have to be very familiar to you, but just observe the area itself and the things around you, so you can have a sense of yourself being present where you are, just right now, just being present. This is where you are. The world you observe all around you on the outside is the sensible world which you are most familiar with. Now I want you to just close your eyes. Just close your eyes and bring focus to your body. Okay? Be conscious of all your sensations. Your breath, heartbeat. If you're sitting in a chair, the feeling of the chair, or maybe even wall up against your back. How your hands feel, how your legs feel. As you do this, I'm sure you're going to notice that there are two things that are going on. You have the experience, this experience of the physical body, but then there is an observer, a witness, the you that is having the experience. Now, if you were to shift your attentions deeper, like up into your mind, you get to the thoughts, images, and sensations that are constantly flowing in the front of your mind. I mean, you may try to stop that stream of consciousness, but you'll probably fail, because those thoughts usually continue to drift in and out of your consciousness just regardless of if you want them to or not. But once again, here you have these two things. You have the experience, the experience of the thought, the sensation, the emotion. But then there's the witness, the experiencer, the one who has the experience. If you were to continue this and go deeper and deeper into yourself, you'd become aware that this witness, this small part of yourself, is not a part of any of these things that you observe on the different levels of sensation and experience. It almost seems to have no power or volition of its own, yet it is always present, and is that which experiences all the different levels of reality. This is the true self. In yoga, when we say the self, this is what we're talking about: the silent witness, the observer within the farthest reaches of your being. It's uncorrupted, it's boundless, pure, and beyond the gross consciousness of your ego. This true self is completely independent of your ego. But unfortunately, most of us identify with the ego, or the false self. We identify with the body, we identify with the mind, we identify with our emotions, but we're not any of these things. Now, see, this exercise, this exercise here, it's based on the idea of self-inquiry, which is an old Indian yogic technique, self-inquiry. Basically, you just sit here and you just say to yourself, well, who am I? You know, well, one obvious thing is to say, oh, well, I'm this body, but as we just realized, we're not the body. And then you say, oh, well, I'm the mind. Well, that's not true either, because as we just explained, you're not the mind. And people may say that well, I am a lawyer, I am a teacher, I am a man, I'm a woman. No, these are just labels. These are parts of how you experience the world, but they're not really you, are they? They don't really define you as a whole. Consider yourself and the space you're in now. Okay? On this level of perceived existence, you can see yourself as an individual object in a given space which holds other individual objects. However, if you could look further, you would see that you and everything else around you are constructed out of groupings of molecules and atoms. And if you go even further down, atoms are made of subatomic particles. You go further down, things are made of various spaces and particles which are zipping in and out of existence at all times. But if you go farther still, the lines would begin to blur, and you would see that at the fundamental level of physical existence, there's only energy. The entire physical universe is an infinite sea of pulsing energy. All things are simply a piece of this energy, this life. There's no separation. All is one, one is all. The separations we perceive are created by our inability to observe the subtle and underlying reality with our naked eye. Your true self is part of a universal consciousness, which is the base of this universal existence. It is purely spiritual and is that which observes from within. It powers the mind, it drives the body, and it's part of the Creator, and yet is the created. We don't exist separately, we're one. Now there's also the false self, or the ego. The false self, the ego, it's the superficial self. And really, if you think about it, it's a combination of 5 concepts of existence. Basically, you have form, sensation, perception, mental formations, consciousness. These are all modes of experience, modes of existence, but they're not us. You're not your form. You experience form, but that's not who you are. You're not sensation. You experience different sensations, but you're not a sensation. Your perceptions and mental formations and various levels of consciousness, those are just creations of the mind. They're not you. The main thing to take away here is that this superficial I, this ego, this false self, is something which must be cultivated, shaped, grown, owned, and it and it forms into various different masks that we wear throughout our daily lives. We'll pick up the mask of a mother. We'll be a mother. Or that of a doctor, a lawyer, a father, a son, a daughter, a brother, a sister, a friend. True, these are all part of how we interplay with other beings and the physical universe around us, and that's wonderful. But they're not us. They're tools that we use to experience. The true self exists purely in the realm of the spiritual and cannot be constructed. It's not owned, shaped, grown. It simply is. This true self, this inner I, what some people call the soul, what some call the witness, the observer, the Atman, the Jiva, is spontaneous and free. alone and yet universal, and it acts only on the inner laws of existence. See, all of our lives, society has taught us that we exist completely separate of each other. That you are here, I'm over there, we're occupying separate space altogether, and that you and I, that you are you and I'm me. But in reality, you're me, I'm you, and together we're we, and we are one. While we are unique individuals, this is only the reality on the base level of perception. We are all intertwined in this web of life and existence. Each of us is part of one huge and interdependent macrocosm. No one truly stands alone. And once again, to take it another step further, on the most fundamental level of existence, everything is one huge body of pure energy, the sum of which is indistinguishable from any of its parts. All of life is just one infinite play of the ebb and flow of this energy. Now, I'm not totally dismissing the reality of the individual, but I am saying that the individual self, this idea of you existing separately, is not the ultimate reality. On the common level of perception in which we live, we are all unique extensions of life. Each one of us is different, and that's a wonderful thing. We may all come from the same oneness, which is the ultimate reality, but as individuals, every single human being on the planet is unique. We're different, and that makes us beautiful. Life on this planet and in this universe can be equated to a really large garden filled with many different flowers, while each flowering, while each single flower and plant springs from the same life-giving soil, we drink the same heavenly rain, and and we each bud, and every blossom has its own shape, color, and fragrance, making this garden truly beautiful and wonderful to behold. As human beings, we're truly in a wonderful position, because you see, we're intelligent enough to realize that everything is connected and depends upon each other, while still being able to enjoy how unique and varied our level of reality can be. It's just that the oneness of life is not yet in the common human experience, in the common intelligence of man. So until it is, we should at least learn to enjoy the differences in humanity, don't you think? Because you see, if you learn to enjoy the differences in life, you're going to realize that every single human being is unique, whose exact existence and impact will only occur once in all of eternity. I mean, we may be reborn. Reincarnation may very well be a reality. We may be reborn multiple times, but the life you're living right now, this outer individual identity, not your spiritual one, but this outer individual identity, how you're interacting right now, that exact formula of being is only going to happen once. And you'll see that this is true for yourself, your friends, loved ones, even enemies and people you hate. Also, perfect strangers. You'll see that all people are unique, and you'll put a value on anything that you see as unique. And if you value something, you'll avoid having negative issues with it. See, if we really observe this and experience this, oneness will grow out of enjoying the differences in life. And that's a beautiful, beautiful thing, man.